Hey everyone, I'm live here with Samantha Lucciarini, and she's from BeLocal. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So the first question I always ask is to tell us what you do and how you help people.
So I publish magazines every month, but the way that helps people is it's connecting businesses here in town with their target market. And so every month we push out a Wichita Real Producers magazine, which goes to our real estate industry, and then we push out a magazine called BeLocal, which hits every single new person. It goes to their mailboxes right when they've moved in, so it just is that guide. It's just really highlighting the best people and best things in Wichita. Both magazines are.
I love it. So I love how you're so collaborative with the real estate, I was going to say market, but community,
Yes.
Because we kind of believe in that too,
Yes.
collaboration over competition.
For sure.
And I also love that BeLocal, I actually got it when I moved to my most recent house. And so it's not just movers coming from another place to Wichita, it's anyone who moves, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a new address. So whether they've moved into a condo, a townhome from one side of town to the other, or they are generally brand new to the Wichita area, they're considered a new mover,
Right.
and they're going to receive that information. And then we hit them up on social media and retargeted ads and help them just continue to teach them to turn to BeLocal for their resource and watch our social media, because we are collaborating with other people like Landon Huslig at Wichita Life ICT, who's very abreast of all the events happening.
Everything.
Yep. And so we collaborate with people like him or Audra Janelle or you, so that if they're tuning in to BeLocal, they're still going to get those avenues to get to everyone else in town that are doing big things.
I love it. Love it. So you are doing a lot of things and you've been an entrepreneur for a long time. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got that spirit?
Yeah, so I've born and raised in Wichita, just watching my grandparents and my parents be entrepreneurs. Like my mom did the corporate thing for a little while, but there's just so much freedom and so much empowerment when you're your own boss, a lot more stress, but you've got some skin in the game. And I just don't think that there's anything more rewarding when you're creating something out of nothing, like what you've done here, and it's making a difference, and it's doing what you set out to do, like with a vision statement or a mission statement. So really just watching my parents. I got originally licensed in real estate in 2005. And so anything that has to do with real estate, my radar is more attuned to. And I came across the opportunity to be a magazine publisher, which makes zero sense because I was very medically minded, went to school, thought I'd be a dentist, and try to do all that. Went down that path of medical stuff for a couple of years and then came back to the real estate industry. On LinkedIn, I found that this wonderful company called Into Publishing has several different monthly magazines, several different products. And I figured, a real estate magazine, like that's right up my alley. Let's do this. And it's been an incredible journey ever since. And then coming to find out that there's other products underneath this publishing umbrella, decided, now that my Real Producers was up and running and doing really well, it was time to continue to work and build something else. And so it just made sense to bring BeLocal to Wichita because we have such this resurgence of pride in our city. And I get to help be just one of those voices that shows Wichita in its best light.
I love it. Well, and it's really well done. I always commend, things that are just done to a polish. So I always think that about your magazine.
It is fun. It's the creative juices flow every month. And so the deadline that comes around every month for both magazines isn't necessarily a burden to me. That's the challenge that I like. Like doing real estate full time, I don't like that kind of a challenge. But this challenge gives an outlet for the creativity.
Gives you that variety.
Yeah, it's very rewarding.
For sure. Well, you've talked a little bit about your passion, but can you dig a little deeper into what really drives you?
Just relationships, like connections, having connected with you, and then, the universe just brings to us who we're ready when we're ready, and just expanding my sphere just organically and becoming more rooted in the Wichita community. And when I'm going on sales appointments and I'm meeting with a business owner and they're saying no, or maybe it's a not yet, that's not a loss for me because now I know that business owner. I'm going to recognize their truck when I see, next time, or next time I see them at another event. It's a relationship that's begun, and more than likely they come back around. Absolutely. Or they see that what I'm doing is helpful and will make a difference for someone else that they refer. And so just coming back to being more connected, more grounded within my community, because I'm not leaving anytime soon. My family's here, my son's here, and I love it here.
Yeah.
And I love that we're literally in the middle of all the change in Wichita, and we can help create some differences, for this change moving forward. And I wouldn't change that. So just the relationships. It's what fills my cup.
I love that. Yeah. It's all about planting the seeds, right? Cultivating the garden. And I totally agree. This is a really exciting time to be in Wichita.
It is. Yep. We're pretty lucky.
So what have been some of the challenges or struggles that you faced along the way?
I think my biggest have just been all the ones that are like, between my two ears right here. It usually comes from my own fear, my own like laziness, my lack of motivation, the lack of intrinsic, desire to get things done. We ebb and flow. And so learning that, working a lot maybe this week and not working very much next week. Just learning to have grace with myself and know that just like you, like we worked our tails off for this long, and it's okay to go through different seasons. And some seasons are growth and some are maintenance and some are more selfish and, self-care type. But I would say I'm really fortunate, knock on wood, that I've got some fellow publishers in town like Jody Klein with Splurge and Braden Dimmick with Wichita Business Journal, who are both amazing humans. And I see zero competition between myself and them. Like I've opened my arms and I love on them and I help shout them out. And what they're doing, they're creating really quality publications too. And so that's just showing all of Wichita that magazines are relevant. Print advertising and magazines are huge. Jody's been doing this 16 years. Like there's incredible longevity and importance and a desire and a need for the Wichita market likes magazines. So I'm just lucky that those are really the biggest competitors, if someone wants to label that competition.
And Wichita Business Magazine, I always say like it'll come out sometimes journal, but old habits die hard.
Absolutely. Wichita Business Magazine, definitely not talking about the other thing in town. Very much love, much love for Braden, and want to see him do really well and do something well for our community that other things in the community are not doing well.
Yeah, there's always that hole in the marketplace that somebody can fill.
It's time for Braden to fill that.
Well, so what makes you and your approach unique?
Yeah, so even though I love what other people are doing that have magazines in town, what really sets me apart is that I've created community and platform around mine. I always tell people that when you sign an ad agreement with me, this ad on a piece of paper is not magic. And if you think it is, then I've got, some real estate and the islands to sell you, but I do really want to build the platform, lead the horse to water, so that the businesses really can create genuine relationships with agents, or businesses can create relationships or top of mind awareness with new movers. And then hosting events around that and actually getting people belly to belly, so that they can walk away and say, I actually have an ROI. Like coming to Sam's events or my participation in Sam's magazine over 2 years led to $200,000 in revenue. So of course I'm going to renew with you and I'm going to be a loyal client and continue to pay you every month, so long as you continue to work your tail off and be an extension of the brands. So really it's just the extension of the brands, the social media aspect, and then just the community platform we've created around them.
Love it. Love it. Well, you are a busy lady. You're also a mom. So how have you really built work-life alignment? We don't even say balance.
I know, there's no such thing as balance. We'll drive ourselves crazy if we try to find that perfect balance. It's back to the ebb and flow, right? There's seasons to things. Some days are busy. Some days are fun like this, where I went to like a mastermind and a fun meeting and now a podcast. Like some days are great like this. I do take basically every Friday to myself, to get errands done, massages, facial, like the self-care things, living on my family, having like my girlfriend coffees or lunches. The weekends, I really try to not open the laptop if possible, and really keep it for just downtime and family and friends. And then during the week, I just try to make every day very intentional and do everything that I can, so I can enjoy Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays to have more of a balance. But not getting too mad at ourselves, right? But then also, like when it's our baby and we've built it from the ground up, like no one's gonna love it the way we do. But we also don't mind like going home, getting with our kid, having dinner, then getting on the couch in the jammies and having our laptop and still trucking away with some stuff, but also still kind of being there with our family. Like I do that a lot. Then my son will be like, oh, check out this website, or let's go look at this on it, And so it's, it's not as productive work, but it's, I don't mind that because we're investing in ourselves. We're building equity in our own brands. And so I never really feel unbalanced. And I remember reading one of those cliche quotes. It's interesting. All those cliche sayings like have a lot of meaning when it actually finally applies to you, but to build a life that you don't need a vacation from.
Oh yeah.
And I do love to travel. Of course we love to travel. We're in Kansas, we're landlocked, but I wouldn't change. I really wouldn't change anything. There's some things that I'm striving for, you know, and not to get, and not to get caught up on perfection, but, there's just loving every day, you know, there's not always gonna be tasks we love, but I do enjoy it. Yep.
I love that. And the different ages that your family is at too, right? Like my daughter's 7 and your son's 16. So it's like at different ages, you kind of go through different areas where like my daughter wants my attention all the time, but my 16-year-old, they want to be on their phone. So it's okay for you to be on your computer. He's on his phone. And then, like you said, you have those moments of connection. So I think flowing with that.
That's true. They do sometimes. And sometimes he does need my full attention. But he'll just sit next to me and be on TikTok. And then it's hard for me to get work done because I want to watch what he's watching too. But it is nice. And I think we're showing our kids, you know, they can be anything they want.
Yeah, that modeling is so important.
Yeah, but being an entrepreneur is by far the most fulfilling and the most lucrative. And we're showing them that they can do that, and that there's going to be times where we have to say, sorry, this is first, and then I'm coming to you, or you're first, and I'm putting this aside. And teaching them that, you know, they can't have our undivided attention all the time. That's not how bills are paid.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that modeling and setting good boundaries and expectations, and being where your feet are too, I think sometimes is important, right? Like having those moments where you can unplug and moments where you can be fully focused at work, vice versa. So you've been a bee for a little while now. We've known each other for a long time. So how do you feel that the Hive has helped you personally and professionally?
It's just amazing. The connections, again, the people, the humans. Like I was explaining this to a friend that lives out in San Diego, saying like, it's a female co-working space and boys are allowed, but mostly it's really focusing on like the development and the relationships and the leaving behind the, just the cattiness from high school, you know, and that we're all out here and we have a mountain of troubles and we all have our insecurities and our problems. But when you can introduce me to, you know, Monica, who then changes the, you know, the trajectory of my life and mental health, or I get to see someone like Gail at all the different networking things, like all of us want to belong, and being able to walk in here, and of course we're always going to see new faces when we walk in. I do every single time, but seeing all the familiar faces because I'm a hugger, and just knowing like all those little things added up. Like when I saw everyone at 1 Million Cups yesterday, and then seeing the girls here again today, it makes you really love what you do. Like those are like the good things that are piling on top, and that you need to focus on, because we have all these horrible things sometimes we have to deal with every day. And I just love the women are genuinely just kind and interested in learning about you, and then in turn, you know, you reciprocate that. So everyone's just been a gem. I haven't had literally not even close to a single negative experience.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's true.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always tell people, I've been telling people more and more lately, the Hive is for you, and for you to feel supported in what you're doing. Because, you know, over time I've had to shift a little bit to where, you're going to probably get business from the Hive, but if that's your focus is 100% on that, then it's probably not going to work out, because
people are going to feel that stickiness. They're going to smell that commission breath.
Exactly. Oh, I had never heard that before.
Yes,
I like that.
Yeah. No, you never want them to smell your commission breath. No, that's right. It is. It is for you. It's to fill your cup. It's to make sure you've got a community. I agree.
Yeah. I love that. So what insight would you give to somebody who is at the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey?
The fear will paralyze you, and it will rob you of a life that you can freaking love. It's true. I mean, I kind of have chills too. Like, you know, thinking back to ramping up over 3 years ago, and I've told this story before, like, you know, coming out of a relationship and having to move back into my mother's house with my son, and going through all of my savings, and knowing that I had 6 to 9 months of ramping up this first publication before I even got a single dime, having to take out a personal line of credit with an unreasonably high interest rate. Like the grind is worth it. And what we are capable of is so phenomenal. It's so powerful. Again, back to these cliche sayings, like if you quit, then you lose. You know, and now if you change gears, or you figure out like that's not for you, that's fine. But I'm saying if you're like, this is too hard, I'm too scared what others would think, I'm too scared that I'm not gonna succeed, you know, then it's true.
Or that I'm not gonna be perfect.
Right. Yeah. I mean, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. It really does come down to, and so just, I would say, don't let the fears stop you. Go out there and try and beat to the sound of your own drum, and I've interviewed somebody recently and they're like, everyone sees my glory, but they don't see the story, right? Meaning like we see like the tip of the iceberg. Everyone sees Andrea Hatton as the owner of the Hive. They do not see the rest of the iceberg and all the tears, the sweat, the blood, the frustration, the wanting to quit, the anger, the everything. Like all of that's going to come, but it literally is just nothing compared to the mountain of just joy and just the joy that you feel, just knowing that only you could have done this. And of course we have our tribe that supports us and cheers us on and cusses with us and drinks with us and hugs us and cries and laughs. But we are so capable. So if you have an idea, you just have to go for it.
Oh, for sure.
You just have to. I mean, because you're going to regret what you didn't try. You're not going to regret what you did.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're going to pivot and learn from it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That whole thing, what is it? I'm a 5-year overnight success.
Yes.
Right? Or something like that.
All they see is the overnight success.
Yes. So how can the bees help you and anybody watching? Anything you have coming up we need to know about?
Well, thank you for asking. I want to be connected more than anything. And if a sale comes of it, great. If there happens to be a business that their main target market is the real estate industry, I'd love to have a conversation with them because maybe what I have going on will tremendously help them and maybe it won't be a good fit. But nonetheless, it still gets me to know them. And then when I'm having organic conversations or doing masterminds and I've interviewed hundreds of realtors and I still have hundreds, thousands more actually, then that person will become more top of mind for me and I can organically spread the word. It's a giant appreciation engine that I call it. And so that would be beneficial for anyone that has a target market of agents, anyone that has a target market of a homeowner or a new person into Wichita, which I say is like pretty much every single industry minus like, I don't know, I won't even say it, but I mean, basically every single business could probably work. Again, I just want to get to know them because maybe the things that I have going on will help them. Or if it doesn't, then I can say, we'll try Braden Dimmick, or maybe actually going to Splurge would be better for you, or maybe doing one of the neighborhood magazines, or I've got some really great digital marketers, or you want to network full time. Like I know some people, come with me to these, events. I could network full time if I wanted to. So, I would just love for people to reach out and I just want to be connected and learn more about my community, the people in my community.
I love it. And doing it that way feels so good. Like we always do the same thing with like River Labs, and the other spaces around town. It's like maybe the Hive's not the best fit for you, but I for sure know what it would be a good fit for you, and then let me connect you because you may not come back around from that same person, but they're probably going to tell their friends.
They will. Right.
I ended up going here, but what you're doing sounds like it'd be a perfect fit for this space. So.
Yeah. Like maybe a guy is really going to love being over Colo, but his wife is going to really love being over here. Yeah. And then they've got access to both co-working spaces. I mean, you never know. And I do. I mean, and I know you're the same, that we definitely come from that mindset of abundance and collaboration rather than competition or scarcity. There is. If we're good people and we're doing the right things. And the city is way too small for anyone to be really naughty because that will get around. And then, so you don't want to act like that.
No, absolutely not. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yes,
and how can people find you?
Just anywhere on social media. So Wichita Road Producers, BeLocal Wichita. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, everything. I don't know.
Don't go look up my MySpace. I don't know if it's still there.
I know. I think mine got hacked.
All right. Bye, everyone.